I met another guy that came down from New Hampshire, and he had a Prius, and he modified the right seats in the car to be a bed, and he invented, quote unquote invented, a relief tube for the car. And,
a relief tube?
A relief tube.
What is a relief tube do?
A relief tube is what jet pilots use when they're up there in the middle of the atmosphere and have to take a little bladder avoidance. And so it sprinkles out of the bottom of the airplane. Well, he invented a thing that he calls it on it all. And
you can edit that part out.
that's the name of the product. It's on the web that way. And he sells them all over the place. And basically, it's only good for men. I mean, women can't use it. They have to come up with another way to take care of their thing. But basically, it says you just drill a hole through the bottom of the car, and you put the little hose down through the bottom of the car, and then you just drive down the road and take care of business as you're driving. It's like a jet pilot, fighter pilot. Many people have a Walter Mitty type attitude about this sort of thing. They would love to have the adventure, and they would love to be able to do this sort of thing, but they're married, they're in a family situation, they have a home, they have a mortgage, they have a job, they have all these things that become their own form of imprisonment or enslavement. They've created themselves. I know because I was there myself. I don't say that without understanding, and I'm not a hypocrite. I created my own prisons for all my life. I've created businesses that wouldn't allow me to take off and go and do the things I want to do because I had responsibilities, I had deadlines, I had clients, I had a piece. I had a boss even though I was my own boss working in my own company. So you have people who have that attitude. So when they learn about your lifestyle, they will tell you they envy you and they wish they could do it, but they can't, and so on and so forth. And my answer to that normally for them is that, if you wanted to, you could. You just have to make a choice. Everything in life is about choices.
My name's Sharon Aberts, and I play music. I play keyboards, piano, organ, and accordion, and the radio, of course.
My name is John Aberts. I've been in construction most of my life, mostly as an electrician, but I did other things also. I can build houses from the ground up. Basically, we're just looking to get away from real estate. I've been involved with real estate most of my life, and when you look at all the costs of home ownership, it isn't just the mortgage, if you have a mortgage, but you have maintenance, you have insurance, you have utilities, all that kind of stuff, and most of that is going to go away or be reduced drastically by going to an RV lifestyle.
We're in the process of sifting and sorting and getting rid of a lot of stuff, probably 90% of everything that we own.
We always said when we leave, we want to take our house with us. So that's basically what we're doing when we leave here.
This has been going on for probably a couple years, but we have finally gotten down to the point where we've set the date that we really want to be out of here.
I've explained this to other people. I spend years trying to figure out what the purpose of life is. Some people do that. I'm one of them. And so I spent years studying and reading philosophy and studying other people's lives and all that sort of thing. And I finally came to the conclusion that the only purpose for life is just to be. And so then I discovered, and when I look back into Aristotle and Plato and Socrates and some of those guys back 2,500, 3,000 years ago, they already figured that out way back then, so I don't know what took me so long. Now, some people will be free thinkers from the earliest time. Quite often they're looked down upon, they're spurned because they're doing something out of the ordinary. People become adventurers, people become explorers, people become mountain climbers, people become competitive skiers, people become boaters, people become surfers, all these sorts of things. These are the nonconformists. These are the people who are doing something that's outside the ordinary. Most of society will stay within that, and in so doing, they are creating a form of imprisonment or enslavement for themselves. Now, they don't accept it that way. They don't think about it. They never thought about it that way. They think they're living a normal lifestyle and are perfectly happy. And if they are, that's great. But the vast majority are not that happy in life because most of what they're doing and most of their time is controlled by somebody else. And so, and I was like that. I mean, I was exactly like that. I had the house, I had the cars, I had 6 or 8 suits in the closet. I had, the church that I went to all the time, and I was right in that same pocket with everybody else. But I had very little time to express myself and the things that were inside of me that I wanted to get out. So it came to a point in time, my son was gone, I was not married any longer, and created a philosophy of living free, and so I started a blog a few years ago. Gave up having a fixed home in 2008, the end of 2008, and I've never looked back. Have downsized, still have some stuff to get rid of, but I've continued to downsize and travel and spend most of my time living on the road in a vehicle I've termed my McVansion, named by one of my nephews in New Jersey. On the passenger side of the van, I have a small refrigerator. Takes care of all the needs for perishable foods that I'm traveling with. I try and keep my perishables down to a minimum. And there's a countertop on top of the refrigerator that I can use for preparation or laying things out. Next to that, you see a couple of pillows. Makes into a little seat there, or so it appears, but actually I can use it as a seat or I can use it as additional workspace and lay things out on there. However, underneath that I can take the top of it off and the front of it off, and there's a portable chemical toilet underneath. And so when I need the conveniences in the van, it's right there, and it takes just a couple seconds to turn the van into a different convenience factor. There's a space that's just wide enough to store 3 pairs of shoes. So every bit of space in the van I find a utilization for. Underneath the shoes I have a little cutout in the cover over the wheel well, and in there I keep 2 8-pound dumbbells for a little bit of fitness. Coming back to the back of the van is where I have my workstation, and the workstation is basically a desk that I can set my computer up on and my tablet, and I have 110 volt power there, I have 12 volt power there, and I have 5 volt USB power there. There's a little drop leaf keyboard shelf that I've built on front of that, so I can put the keyboard out in front when I'm actually working on a project. And over to the right side, or from your perspective right now, the driver's side of the van, there's a drop-down shelf or tabletop surface that extends the desk, and that is basically a drop leaf arrangement. I can lift that up and make it into a small cube, and it also opens up the area for my bunk when I'm sleeping. So I can use that area as a voiceover booth when I'm doing voiceover work for a client. Underneath it, you can see a blue fabric thing, and that happens to be my sleeping bag that I have folded up, and it acts as the support for the drop leaf table. So it serves, again, dual purposes. At night, the drop leaf goes up, the sleeping bag folds out, and I'm ready to sleep and go to bed. I had the seat cushions, which are actually a mattress. It's 4 inches of memory foam. I had these covers made by a company in New York, and they just happened to have a pattern that was great for traveling on the road. It has all kinds of license plates on it, so it's kind of goes along with the motif of the interior of the van. Underneath this bunk is a massive amount of storage space, and I store additional equipment for when I'm doing some kinds of jobs, work and stuff like that. I have extra microphones, cables, and things of that nature. I have extra clothes down here. I keep my laundry under here. I have a huge 8D battery, which is an AGM battery, and that battery gives me 245 amp hours worth of power, so I can run for pretty much a solid day. It charges off the alternator battery, or I have a smart charger in the back of the van, so that I can keep the battery up all the time, keep it charged up. And I have two inverters under there, a 400 watt inverter and a 1000 watt inverter, and that gives me all the AC I need to run the refrigerator or to run any other ancillary equipment that I have in the back. There's cabinetry around the entire upper part of the van that came with it when it was a conversion van, as they would call, because it was a kind of a luxury travel vehicle originally. And so that gives me additional storage space for various and sundry things. I have some food above. I have my 12-volt lunchbox stove up there. I have storage containers up there. And of course, I also have a little water heating device on top of the counter here that I can heat water off of 12 volts. And essentially, it's basically a tiny house. It's about 50 square feet in here. I designed it all myself. My background, I was an industrial arts major in college, certified to teach it in kindergarten through 12th grade, so I learned all the skills. I worked with metals, I worked with woods, I worked with electronics. So I did all my electrical wiring, I did all my woodworking design myself. Basically everything in here is something that I designed and built, and I built it for my specific needs. This is a one-of-a-kind van and mini house, tiny house on wheels, and was designed for my lifestyle and mine alone. Maybe sometime in the future when I decide to let go of it and move into something else, somebody else will like it and decide they want to take it over, and I'll just sell it off to them. But at the moment it's my home, and it's a very comfortable place.
He wants to come up here and see what's going on. This is Angel. He's about 8 years old. He found us. We swore we wouldn't have another dog, but he kind of found us, and we found him living underneath our storage building, and we couldn't find anybody that had notices out that he was lost or anything else. He had no collar on him, and so it took me about 4 days to make friends with him, and he became our baby.
And if you mention the word go, he's ready.
Yeah.
He knows what that is. Don't you?
Yes, I love you too. All right.
Yes, you're a good boy. You're a good boy.
Now he got my glasses smeared up.
You want to get down? Get down a minute. Okay, that's good.
One of our goals that was a requirement for hitting the road full time is my wife wants to take her piano with us. And we couldn't find any kind of a trailer ready-made that would do what we wanted it to do. And I already owned this cargo trailer, so this is what we ended up with. We decided to just convert our own and make it the way we wanted it. So in the back of the trailer here, we're going to have a bulkhead 40 inches high. And it's I'm still in construction, so we're in a mess right now. But there's going to be a bulkhead 20 inches in from the back, which gives just enough room for the handlebars, and the bikes will fit back to back, basically, one headed one way and one headed the other. And above that will be a bunk at 40 inches high, and then there will be a short cabinet on each side that the bunk will come out over that. Over here we're going to have a wardrobe closet 32 inches wide, and then we have a 4-foot countertop, which this is the countertop, not mounted yet, but this is what we're going to use in there. It's kind of a marble look. And at the other end is going to be a couch across the entire front that also pulls out to make into a bunk. Across each side, up here, just in front of the closet, we'll have the refrigerator. It's a 2-door refrigerator with a nice sized freezer compartment in it. We'll have a bar sink and a little bit of counter space. We'll have our water storage, water heater, drawers, and everything else under here in the kitchen cabinet. And then from the refrigerator over, we'll have a microwave in the top, and then a cabinet to the front. We'll have a gallery shelf. It'll be a shelf with a gallery rail across the front that will go at the level of the bottom of the cabinets, and then we'll have cabinets completely down this side that will go clear to the back of the trailer. And the piano will go here. We'll have LED lighting. I've got the LED lights that will go up here, but I've got to wire in my fans and get the lights brought out yet. And then also under the cabinets above the piano and above the workspace over here, we'll have LED lights under there. And with that and the vents and the two dome lights that we'll have in here with LED lights, we should have plenty of light. And also, I have plenty of plywood, as you can see here, and I've got more plywood that we will insulate. The bulkhead will be insulated back here. But because I have so much scrap plywood from being in the construction trades, we're going to make use of that rather than worry about trying to find fancy plywood or paneling or anything to build this out of. And I'm just going to paint it all white. It'll be primed and painted white. It's easy to repair. It'll make it brighter and lighter in here. The ceiling will be white too. And so that should give us plenty of light in here. For all practical purposes, anybody looking at it will assume it's a contractor trailer. The only thing that might give it away is the fact that we have two max air vent covers on top of the two fantastic fans in the roof. And with those, we may not even need the air conditioner a lot, because we can set one to blow in and the other to suck air out. We can create quite a breeze in there with the fantastic fans. Because this was a cargo trailer, it had the cam bar latch on here, and that's not good for being an RV, so I made sure we bought the regular Bargeman latch so that we can get in and out. We can close it. It's got a deadbolt. We can lock that from the inside. And I bought another one of these hasps for the cam bar latch, and that will go over here on this side so that when we take this cam bar handle back, we can lock it back, so that way nobody can come along and lock us into the trailer. So that's kind of a safety feature, but this works very well for doing what we want to. The trailer will have air conditioning in it. The air conditioner is mounted under the couch and vented down through the floor. So that keeps the trailer stealth with no vents or anything showing on the outside of the trailer. For all practical purposes, anybody looking at it will assume it's a contractor trailer. We've got two 6-volt 225 amp hour batteries that I'll put in series. And this Saturday we're picking up two 100-watt solar panels and hopefully a roof rack if the guy has the one that will fit the trailer. And then we'll have 200 watts of solar on the roof to keep the refrigerator running and have everything the way we want. One of our goals in this was not to get a lot of specialized RV equipment. We will have a 12-volt pump, and of course the RV batteries, deep cycle batteries, but everything else that is going into the trailer are things that can be purchased at any Walmart or Home Depot. If the refrigerator goes out, we can replace it from anything from Walmart, which is where we got this one. The air conditioner, the same way. If the air conditioner goes out, we'll just go buy another air conditioner. We don't have to wait to go to a dealer, worry about finding a board for it, and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to keep it simple and keep it basic so that anything that happens can be repaired quickly and move on. And that's part of our goal in the way we're building this.
You always have people who raise their eyebrows at anything that's an alternative lifestyle, and having been pretty much a straight arrow guy most of my life. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old, but I've had the traditional homes and the family, and I've done all of the traditional mainstream American lifestyle type things. So when I decided to do this, people were a little bit surprised, but what they really didn't realize is I would have been doing this from the time I was 18 or 20 years old on, if I could have. I'm basically just an old hippie. And Only reason that I didn't end up doing this for a while back then was because it was during the days of the draft of the Vietnam War, and Uncle Sam needed my services. And so basically, my life was not in my own control at that particular point in time. Freedom freedom and happiness are a state of mind. You choose to think free and to live free, whatever way you want to define that. And you have the choice to define it any way you want to. If you're happy living in a community where you've got a mortgage and car payments and all that stuff, if you're happy, which is another state of mind and a choice, then that's fine. But if for some reason you're not content, you're not happy, you're just going on every day, getting up, going to work, coming home, having a meal, helping the kids with the homework, going to bed, getting up, going to work, coming home, having a meal, helping the kids with the homework, going to bed, then there's something missing in your life. And considering that we all have an unknown finite amount of time to live our lives, too many people aren't spending time making memories. Too many people are spending their time making money to pay the bills so that they can just stay with a roof over their head and pay off all the stuff that they have. People buy all kinds of toys and then they store them and they don't use them anymore once the novelty wears off. That costs money to do all that sort of thing, and now you have that continued expense of maintaining that. Then you go into what I call the warehousing business. You warehouse stuff.
We're not doing without anything. We have a food budget that is plenty for us. I think I have $300 plugged into the food budget. $300 a month is plenty for the two of us. I mean, that'll buy snacks and everything else that we need.
We eat now.
We don't.
So we're still going to eat when we get out on the road full timing.
Yeah.
That
Actually,
doesn't really change, other than maybe
yeah,
what we buy.
Actually, our budget is closer to $200 a month right now because we're trying to not spend a lot of extra stuff, trying to get her out of her job as quickly as possible. And we have a deadline for that, so we're trying to stay on track with that. Once we leave here, then our food budget can go up a little bit and afford a few of the luxuries and things that we don't buy now.
We hear people all the time in the news talking about people living under the poverty level and how difficult life is to live under the poverty level, and people are suffering so badly. Well, I'm living high on the hog, quite frankly, and I'm living way under the poverty level and have no problems with it. I mean, I'm enjoying my life. I have my freedom. I'm eating well. I have lots of more clothes than I need, and I'm comfortable in the clothes that I have. I'm not walking around in worn out shoes. I mean, I'm living as well as I ever lived, except I'm just living in 50 square feet instead of at one point 5,000 square feet. You've got people who want to live in a $15,000 a month East Side apartment in New York City. I could never live that lifestyle, and there's not enough money in the world to make me want to live that kind of lifestyle. But there are some people who will say that's the only kind of lifestyle to live, because then people have a $10 million yacht, well, this is the lifestyle. Well, great, for you that's the lifestyle. For me, it's not.
I'm just looking forward to this as a new adventure in our life. At this stage in our life, you don't have too many new adventures, so I think this is exciting.
There's always going to be people in this world who are far more wealthy than anybody else. And there are going to be people who are poor. But whether you're happy or not is not a matter of whether you're the wealthy people in the world or whether you're poor people in the world. What's going to determine whether you're happy or not is where your mind is and what your thinking is, and whether you're doing and living the life that you choose to live.